Hello everybody, how good of you to join. My name is Nevarius and in this video we're going to have a quick preview of Manor Lords, a new strategy simulation game coming out in 2021 into early access, and I've been able to catch a few new information from the developers, so let's get cracking. First things first, Manor Lords is going to be a single player only game. There is no multiplayer planned at this moment, though it might be added at later stages if the community feedback is big enough for it. Manor Lords has the focus on two aspects. The first one is the organic city building with a gridless building system that provides full freedom of placement and rotation. The goal is to simulate the growth of a real medieval town. There is a huge focus on detail here, where you need tools and labor for specialized tasks like field plowing, sheep herding, and you can watch your inhabitants on their daily routines. The other big focus is on realistic warfare, on large-scale battles. Instead of training single units, you will find yourself recruiting dozens, hundreds and even thousands of soldiers on the same map. The map itself is divided into smaller regions, so you start on one small tile and expand from there. Each region has its own resources and development tree that unlocks special skills, traits such as beer brewing, new abilities and developments that unlock higher tiers of buildings. Those regions have specializations. In some you find high fertility ground for farms, in others you find resources like stone or iron that you can mine. Other regions offer bonuses for industry, so you can focus on high tier industrial buildings like breweries, shoemakers or forges. With the right goods and demands met, your citizens will then want to upgrade to higher tiers. Each tier offers certain bonuses and a certain amount of inhabitants. For example, in a basic tent only one person can live, but with upgrades the same tent can become a house and offer space for a whole family. Beside basic demands for goods, you also need to plan the distance between workplace and living space. If it's too far away, your citizens will travel too far and lose a lot of their time for commuting instead of working on the fields. This also ensures that a realistic town is forming, since fields were never far away from houses. There are dozens of goods and they are divided into smaller sections. Basic resources like leather or grain or flax you can find in your region. You can then process them into linen, wool or flour. Out of that you make the higher tier products like shoes, bread, ale and weapons. Depending on your region's location and production, traders will arrive regularly to purchase and sell goods depending on your regional specialization. But be careful to not mass produce cheaper resources. If you produce a lot of iron and want to sell all of it, the price will drop. If the region is starving on iron and you want to buy it, the price will rise. A good balance between goods to sell and goods to purchase is thus very important, as you need to ensure a trade equity. The game encourages you to have your own trade routes of cheaper basic materials like iron being transported to your own industries, where you can produce fewer but far more valuable products. Traders are not the only way to gain real wealth in the game though. There is another way, and that is the local treasury that needs to be filled with tax income. There are various types of tax incomes from your citizens. The higher tier your buildings, the more tax income you can generate. One of these taxes is called the tithe, and that goes straight to the church. The church in return gives you influence, another currency. With influence you can purchase new regions or pressure your competitors into certain actions in the diplomacy system. In the diplomacy menu, you can also purchase regions not only with influence but with favors granted by the king. The relationship to him and your opponents plays a vital role in how you will expand your empire. Doing favors for the king will earn you more influence that in return you can claim new territories with. Now let's get to the military system. It's based on three categories: peasants, archers and lord's retinue. Raising soldiers takes a toll on your economy because those recruits are directly taken from your population. If you take too many farmers at the wrong time, for example the harvest time, you may lose a lot of grain and thus face a starving population in the next winter. Yep, that's right, we have seasons too. But you don't take these peasants or soldiers right from any building like in Age of Empires, for example. Nope, you have rally points. So you gather them, you gather the soldiers at a rally point, and people that are eligible for this role, like archers, like peasants, will then march to the rally point and wait for your command. Now, peasants are the most basic army type that you can recruit, but it doesn't stop here. You need to train them in order to get better tier units, like with any production chain. If you want to get archers, you have to train them at the archery range. If you want to have knights, you have to get them to a training camp in order to get better units out of them. Then we have the mercenaries. They're ready to be hired at any time, but instead of manpower taken from your village, they cost coin. A lot of it. These mercenaries have their own traits. For example, they can be good at sieges or good at shooting, but they're not arriving right away, but they arrive within a couple of days, so not immediately. That takes another toll on your strategies. Now this brings us to the ultimate soldiers, the highest tier soldiers that you can have in your village or in your city, and these are the Lord's retinues that you can even customize yourself with their own shields, banners, colors and names. These are heavily armed soldiers that cost a lot of coin but are incredibly powerful in the fight as they use horses and heavy armor. It is also important to note here that battles in Manor Lords take place in real time on the same map, so you don't get, to a separated battlefield like in Total War, for example. This makes it all very interesting, I think, especially when it comes to attacking and laying siege to other cities and villages. And don't forget seasons in your tactical world conquering. In the harvest season, it might be better to have farmers on the fields to prepare for winter instead of using them as soldiers in the battle. In winter, you better process your harvest instead of letting your soldiers march through thick snow. Random events add additional dangers to your planning. For example, a plague could hit your town and decimate potential soldiers. Too bad you've already declared war, then it might be a good idea to use a bit of that influence to force a peace on your enemy. In conclusion, with Manor Lords, we're probably going to see one of the most interesting strategy titles of 2021. It combines interesting mechanics into a realistic medieval city builder that leaves a desire for more. I can't wait to finally play it myself and show it to you guys on my channel. For more information, check out the Manor Lords Discord, a subreddit, and of course, my channel. Stay tuned.